Hi everybody, I'm Dana Steingold. I am in Beetlejuice and I play the Girl Scout. My first theater production was The King and I at the JCC. I had a lot of energy and my mom wanted me to get it out. And it was very offensive and I played Princess Yowlek. It was Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid, and I had a whole choreographed routine. I think I honestly, I laid on the ground. I fully laid like this, and I was like, look at this stuff, isn't it neat? I did a whole thing. I had seashells, it was great. Beetlejuice is about a guy who is fascinated with being alive and a girl who is fascinated with being dead, and it's their journey both to feel seen in their own ways. It's both thrilling and challenging in that I don't have a lot of time on stage before that to kind of gauge where we are, so I sort of try to listen to the audience a little bit before, but it's really exciting and fun, and I have 10 seconds to sort of figure out what's happening, with the audience and the energy, which is a challenge. Entrance applause, and I'm like, why? I'm nobody, but it's exciting because I think it has nothing to do with me. I think people just love the soundtrack and they get very excited that they're going to hear Girl Scout because the song is very catchy. Good job, Eddie Perfect. Honestly, it's just a weird, natural, special skill, and in the very first reading, I did them, and they just kept adding more and more and more and more screams. So that's that. It's hard to say what my favorite is, but I have a lot of secret things. I'm inside the shrunken head during the Netherworld, which is challenging. I don't have a lot of peripheral vision, actually none. So that was death-defying the first few times. And the other is I'm in the pig cart during the dinner party, puppeteering the pig. So I'm in an ice vest, and I'm inside a tabletop, on my back, curled up like this, in a fetal position, puppeteering.
Oh my god.
I know,
how did you know how to do that?
Hashtag Broadway Secrets.
Hashtag Broadway Secrets, yeah.
How did you know how to do that? They had to teach you it? Or you knew from Avenue Q?
Yeah, they knew I could puppeteer from Avenue Q, and at one of the last workshops before we went out of town, Michael Curry, who built all the puppets, came in and he said, hey Dana, are you claustrophobic? And I said, no, I don't think so. And he was like, okay, come here. And he took me into the other studio, and he was showed me a drawing of what he had envisioned, and there was another guy who's also named Michael, and he was our magic consultant, and they built this crazy box, which a magician's assistant would be inside, that looks like there's no person in there with mirrors. It's crazy, and it's very tough to fit into, I guess, if you're not exactly my size. So I call it my personal equity comp that they built just for me.
It sounds crazy.
It is a little crazy. There are days where I look in the mirror and I'm in an ice vest and a camo shirt that matches the leaves of the pig, and I'm and just a wig cap and barefoot because you literally can't wear shoes, it's that small. And I'm what am I doing for a living? But it's also really silly and funny, and when I tell people before they come to the show, it makes those parts especially enjoyable, I think. Oh god, this is gonna make me sound like such a bad actor. I don't think most of us, some people have vocal warm-ups and stuff. I'm able to sort of use the show as my vocal warm-up because the opening number I sing a high C sharp, and then it's I'm great, warm. But I think my warm-up is really socializing with everybody. Our room is kind of like Grand Central Station, everybody's in here, Presley, Eric, Leslie, David, everyone just kind of stops in. So it's kind of more of a social warm-up.
Yeah. You guys all seem like you're such good friends based on social media. Yeah,
we have a really good time. It's it really is a family in that also we all just express exactly how we feel to each other, which is great. We laugh a lot and support each other on the bad days too. And there are definitely bad days as well. And it's hard to do a funny show on a bad day. But everyone really gets along, and we have this floor in particular, we have a lot of fun on this floor.
That's good.
I'm across from Leslie, across from Kelvin, I share with Jill, and we're next to David, so we all share walls, and it's very fun. Oh. If I were a Girl Scout cookie, I would 100% be a Samoa because I love coconut. That's easy. I would say the biggest challenge of understudying Lydia is actually that I'm an internal cover, as is Presley. So we can't swing out, for example, and see the show from the outside. So when we were building the show, things were getting changed all the time, and we just had to keep changing our pages. And yeah, I think it's always, I think it's really exciting to go on and also scary, but I always say that your biggest job as a cover is to be sort of seamless, and it's not about you being the best you can be. It's about like how you can serve everybody else around stage with so that their show stays consistent and the same. And you want it to feel like there isn't necessarily a new energy. Yeah. So I think that's fun, and we're very supportive of covers here at Beetlejuice anyway. Like, we love when swings go on, we love when all the covers go on. Everyone's awesome and does their own thing, and we're really lucky here because we're supported by our stage management team and our creative team, who are like very cool about taking a new, a new view on it, I guess.
I love seeing understudies. Once I see it the first time, like with everyone, then I love coming back to see understudies.
It's so fun because you see like what you've taken from that person that makes sense to you to keep it in the world, but then also like how everybody's made it their own and brought themselves to it, because it would be, I could never do what Presley does and never do what Sophia does, because I'm such a different person, and same with Presley. So I think we've all sort of have things that we do that honor what has been built that we all do, and then completely then our own thing also. I've never been a part of a show like this in the best way that's been this big and this well received by fans, and it is so awesome. They love understudies, they love all the ensemble members, and they're as fascinated with them as they are, I think, with like Alex and Sophia, and I think that's so cool. And I think it's also like we're a very engaged company also. Like, we really, because we built the show and we loved it so much, and we sort of came in not knowing how we'd be received, and I think people weren't sure exactly what our show was initially. We were like, okay, well, we're going to engage with everybody so they learn what our show is from us, since we're the only people who can be like, we're the best self-promotion, we're the best PR the show can have, essentially. The obvious thing to me is that we all have at some point in our life not felt seen. So I think you can immediately latch on to Lydia's story. Like, she's misunderstood. She doesn't feel like she's heard by her parents. She doesn't feel like anybody understands her grief. And then grief is the other part. I think most of us unfortunately have lost somebody close to us. And I think we don't always deal with that loss in the same way as Lydia does, but I think that everybody can relate to the process of how you mourn. Today, like, the whole first 2 rows were like women in Beetlejuice suits, and someone actually had a Beetlejuice wig on a head bust today. I hadn't seen that before. Good on you, first time. And we've seen a lot, but yeah, it's been it's pretty crazy. The cosplay is insane. Very accurate at Girl Scout costumes also. We all are just so grateful. Even like today during curtain call, it was a Wednesday matinee and people were like losing their minds, and that's pretty standard here. And like, I don't think any of us take it for granted for 1 second how lucky we are to be a part of a show that gets that kind of reception every day. And even like people are talking about like the vacating, closing, and all these things. They're like, how's the energy? And I was like, it's actually amazing and fine, because we get that kind of energy from our audiences every day. So it doesn't feel like anything's changing, actually. I'm sure it will start to feel that way.
So you guys are selling out almost every night?
Yeah, we've been like selling out every night, like standing room only. And people are thrilled to be here. And a lot of people are here for like their 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th time, which is really cool also. Because,
I'm not guilty of that.
Yeah. But it's so awesome because we knew the show was this good. Like, we always believed in it. We were like, it's a party. It's so fun. Just come with your friends, tell all your friends. And it just, people had to get here and to see it, because I think people were kind of judging it or creating some sort of, formulating an opinion about it from the outside. And then they came, they're like, oh, this is the most fun I've had at the theater in so long. The Tony Awards social media, and I think the cast recording was a huge, huge thing for us, because I think once people heard it, especially on like 2nd and 3rd pass of the cast album, I think you start to realize how good some of Betty's rhymes are, how like just earworms in the most positive sense. There are hooks that stick. Like, I remember the first time I ever heard Invisible, I sang it for like 6 weeks after that first workshop that I heard it, and I was like, oh, this song's great, Yeah. And luckily we have like Sophia delivering it, and she's always sounded amazing on it, and it just is like a great little ditty and an underserved. I think people don't get that song enough credit. I think so many people found our show on social media through TikTok, through the cast album and the cosplay aspect, and I think it's brought tons of new audience members in who have never seen a show before. And I think that's so cool because hopefully they'll go see another one. You know, like hopefully after Beetlejuice, they'll give Hadestown a chance and something else they wouldn't have walked into the theater to see. This is so hard. Like, of all the Broadway cosplay I would do, I'm so stressed out. Okay, I would either be Dot from Signing the Park with George, or, but yeah, because if I was Alona and She Loves Me, that would be like a stretch. Nobody would really know who I was playing. So I think Dot in Signing the Park with George, or like Sutton Foster as Millie in 30 Modern Millie, because still, like, she posted something this morning and I was like, this is still my favorite performance. It made me love theater even more. It was just so good.
Yeah, I agree. I saw it on Broadway.
Yeah. I saw it like 4 or 5 times. I loved it. She's so good. Gavin's such a good singer. This the whole thing was great. It was amazing, and I also, like, I remember I had auditioned for the first national of Spelling Bee, and I found out that I got it while on the Marriott Marquis escalators, like, leaving, having just seen Sutton Foster again. And I was like, I hope I can be like her one day. And I found out I got Spelling Bee, and I just started crying in the middle of the Marriott Marquis. That's awesome. Embarrassing.
So you were like halfway there. You're like, I see it. I
I was like, I'm so close.